Chiefs visit the Ravens for the AFC Championship game Sunday. Patrick Mahomes has won 3 of his 4 head-to-head meetings with Lamar Jackson. Here's what Lamar Jackson had to say about playing against Mahomes.
I don't like competing against him at all. But yeah, I mean, he's a great quarterback. Definitely a Hall of Famer. It's not even it's a no-brainer. He's definitely a Hall of Famer. But it's just, I believe it's just two greats, up-and-coming greats, just going toe-to-toe. You know, like a heavyweight fight, heavyweight matchup. That's just what I see.
And the Lions take on the Niners for the NFC Championship Sunday night. Jared Goff was asked about the talent disparity between both teams by the media on Wednesday.
A lot of really good players, obviously, but maybe
Oh, thank you. I said thank you.
maybe not viewed though as the superstars like maybe the 49ers have.
All right, never mind.
I mean, guys like St. Brown and Giddy, you.
Yep. St. Brown was first team All-Pro, so.
Right.
So was Panay. Sorry, continue. I'm sorry.
Absolutely, but do you feel like this is a chance for?
Yeah, I know what you're getting at. Yes, I do. I think we've got a ton of great players who maybe haven't had the national stage that up to this point that a lot of other guys have, and obviously they have a ton of good players as well, and a ton of Pro Bowlers and all Pro players over there, and we feel like we've got a lot of good players too, though, like you mentioned, and excited to play on another national stage and be able to showcase that.
Luke, can I start this edition of Luke Who's Talking by asking you about that Goff clip? You know, you never see Jared Goff show his personality. I loved every second of that. That was just awesome.
Incredible, Jay. And he's got a great point. I loved how he said, all right, never mind. That really had me laughing. But offensively, I mean, Jay, he's right. What do you want the guy to say? Offensively, they match up extremely well. I mean, if you're going to compare apples to apples here, both offenses have a great offensive line. You got CMC, and on the other side, you've got the combination of Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Again, I think that the combination is very, very similar. At quarterback, Goff versus Purdy, I'd probably give the nod to Jared Goff just due to experience, but I'm a big Brock Purdy guy. And at receiver, you look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, yeah, there's probably a little more depth with the Niners, but I think it's very, very close.
Do you believe the Lions can actually get this done on the road on Sunday?
So, I say that, Jay, and the reality is, even if I did, Dan Campbell specifically said, I believe 5 days ago, that the bandwagon is full, and if you're not on it, you're not allowed to jump on. And clearly I have not / never been on the bandwagon. So my answer to that question is no, I don't. I think it'll be a very tight game. You look at the line, I think that the line is wrong. And I think Detroit's going to come in here and throw every punch they can. I think the difference in this game comes down to the defense, specifically the secondary. Like I just said, I think the offenses are very, very comparable. I think the front seven of Detroit, you look at their run defense, has been very good all year. I think that the Niners defense as a whole is very, very strong. Where the difference in this game lies to me is the Detroit Lions secondary, and we talk about all the weapons, and I think that even if the weather's good, which it looks like it's going to be, Purdy will have a pretty good day throwing the ball, and that'll just be enough to push the Niners into the Super Bowl.
In the AFC, this is amazing to me, Luke. As great as Lamar Jackson is, this is his first time in the conference championship game. For Patrick Mahomes, it's his 6th time in the game. It's incredible. And we should mention Patrick Mahomes has won 3 or 4 meetings against Lamar. We already mentioned that. So, my question for you, Luke, does Mahomes continue to cement his Hall of Fame legacy as one of the best of all time, or does Lamar Jackson finally get over that hill and get into the Super Bowl?
Jay, I think Lamar gets it done. And it's hard to say that because you look at Patrick Mahomes, and obviously they're getting hot at the right time. But the reason I say that is this Ravens team is wildly well-balanced. They have the better defense of the two. Not saying Kansas City's defense is bad, but the Ravens defense is an elite unit, and offensively, the Ravens can really, beat you in a variety of different ways, whether it's Lamar throwing the football, which we've seen this year, whether it's the committee of running backs, or whether it's Lamar just playing backyard, recess-style football, scrambling and making plays. All three of those phases work for this Ravens defense. And I'm going to switch back to Ravens offense. I'm going to switch back to the Ravens defense here. Like I said, Jay, this unit is elite. They can stop the run. They can stop the pass. Patrick Mahomes will have his hands full, and I really do believe that he'll have some success and they'll be able to score some points, but not enough. And the next thing that I'll say is this Kansas City defense is susceptible to elite run games. You look at last week against the Bills, Kansas City gave up 182 rush yards. And yeah, you can say, well, some of that was Josh Allen scrambling, and it was. Well, guess what? In my opinion, we've gotten even more electric, albeit different, scrambler and Lamar Jackson coming to town this game. So I think that between the scrambling, the run game that the Ravens will have, Lamar being able to throw the football, it'll be a great football game, but I think that the Ravens get it done.
Luke, a coach you faced many times, one of your nemesises, if you will. Is the plural of nemesis? Anyway, Jim Harbaugh's back in the NFL, buddy. Jim Harbaugh's back in the NFL. First time since 2014. Leaving Michigan to coach the Los Angeles Chargers. My question is a two-parter for you. Are you surprised, ultimately, Luke, that Harbaugh did leave Michigan and go back to the NFL? And the second part is, what are you expecting from Justin Herbert under Jim Harbaugh?
I'm shocked. Quite honestly, Jay, why do you leave Michigan after you just won one? And this is where the whole thing gets strange for me with college sports in general, is imagine the messaging that he's telling these Michigan kids year after year after year, and they finally get one, and he's like, okay, I've got this thing, checked off my list. Now it's time to go back to the NFL to chase the elusive Super Bowl. It's ridiculous, in my opinion. And the next thing is at least try and run it back and defend your title at Michigan. I'm very, very surprised that he decided to leave. And you talk about the LA Chargers, that's another place that I think is a strange landing spot for Coach Harbaugh there. And the reason I say that is, you look at his time with the Niners, who, like you said, I played against a bunch of times. He had a Colin Kaepernick as quarterback and kind of redefined how that offense went. And you look at him at Michigan, yes, he's had J.J. McCarthy, but it's been more of a run team. And now he goes to a team that has a quarterback with an elite arm talent in Herbert. So you would think that they would want to get a guy that's going to want to sling the ball around, especially with Justin Herbert there. And, I mean, I'm kind of at a loss for words. I'm disappointed he left Michigan, and I'm surprised that the Chargers wanted this route, especially because there were rumors that Pete Carroll was involved in some of the communications of potentially being the head coach there.
Yeah, going back to where he was such a star at USC, it would have been a nice fit too, for sure. I do have one more coaching question for you, and it's a doozy, because we love to float Bill Belichick's name all over this show, as you know, and fans, the mafia, Luke, have been talking about a potential Buffalo Bills Bill Belichick union, what that might be like. You've had a couple of days to ponder it. Is this a move that you would actually think about making?
I mean, you can think about it. Of course, I think anywhere Bill Belichick goes, and I've said this numerous times, immediately that organization, that team becomes better. But that being said, there's no way you can fire Sean McDermott. As much as you want to critique maybe some of his clock management, critique whatever, the defense played at a very high level despite being absolutely ravaged with injuries. And I thought that what Sean McDermott did with that unit in general was incredible, because he didn't just line up and play his normal coverage. He adjusted, he adapted. They did a ton of stuff on defense where you'd see them pre-snap, really hide coverages, hide pressures. And it worked. And it worked all the way until a 3-point loss, which, don't get me started with the kicker situation, to the Kansas City Chiefs. So, Jay, I look at this thing and I'm like, okay, sure, Bill Belichick, greatest coach of all time. But you can't do that to a coach who just rattled off 6 straight wins to win the division and then go into the playoffs and you lose by 3 points to Patrick Mahomes when you're starting a middle linebacker who was signed off the couch 2 weeks earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane. It's insane, and I can't. Again, you got to tip your hat to Sean McDermott, and there's no way you can let this guy go after that performance.
Fair point. Wonder where Belichick, maybe he just takes a year off. Might not be a bad idea. Luke, we will talk to you right after the NFC Championship game between the Lions and Niners on Sunday night. I can't wait, buddy. Thanks for this.
Can't wait.
It's going to be fun, and these are the odds powered by our friends at FanDuel. Ravens still favored by 3.5 at home over the Chiefs. Niners, as Luke mentioned, he doesn't like this line, feels it's inflated, but FanDuel disagrees. They've got the Niners by a touchdown over Detroit. And don't forget, after that Detroit-Niners NFC Championship game is over, fans in Windsor might be cheering. James Duthie might be crying. Who knows? We'll find out. We'll break it down. We will follow the NFC Championship game this Sunday right here on TSN.